Hello and welcome to Hank Games Without Hank. It's me, your host, John Green. Today we are the Swindon Town Swoodilypoopers, as indeed we always are. We are here in the N-Power Championship, and we are taking on some other team that for some reason hasn't sold out even though the Swoodilypoopers are in town. You can rest assured that the Swoodilypoopers will have good support today. So I need to bring you up to date on our squad, and I also want to tell you about my college comedy group, which many people have asked for. It was called 1033. I was in a comedy group in college. One of the people I was in the comedy group with has become very famous since then. So anyway, I'm going to tell you about that, but I also want to bring you up to date on the squad today as we shake the hands of the referee. So a couple things. First off, John Green and John Green are not in today's game. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, guys. On the upside, our referee is named Hayden Pennyfeather. That's something. Unfortunately, both other John Green and Bald John Green are really tired, and I just had to give them the day off. I love these guys. I respect them as professionals, and sometimes, they need a rest. So I'm going to let them sleep in their apartment that they share. Fat Lucas is in goal. We have Leroy Williamson and Lana in central mid. Voluptuous Pericard and Stone Cold Steve with the C. Austin up front. And we do have both John Greens on the bench in the event that they become necessary. We're off to a roaring start here. So when I was in college, I was in a sketch comedy group. The founder of the comedy group was my friend Scott Goulden. Scott, really nice guy now, I think lives in Kansas City. And, oh no, it's a disaster to start. We needed the help of Fat Lucas, and as always, we got it because he's Mr. Reliable. Oh boy, we're not playing real well here to start off the game. But, so Scott founded the group, asked me to join it, also asked our friend Will to join it. And the idea of our comedy group was that while all of the other, groups worked blue. Oh, that's got to be a foul. All the other groups worked blue, as we say. They cursed a lot and made lots of jokes about, sexual activities and whatnot, sort of the foundation of all college sketch comedy. We were going to not work blue. We were going to be, quote-unquote, family-oriented comedy. This was a bit of a shtick, but we also took it a little bit seriously to kind of, challenge ourselves to make jokes that weren't about bodily functions, and sometimes they're about bodily functions, but not that often. Just to challenge ourselves to be as to try to make more sophisticated jokes. This meant that we ended up having a lot of really obscure jokes about James Joyce that we we enjoyed. I'm not sure if anyone else did. And so I'll tell you who was in the comedy group. Ransom Riggs was in the comedy group, who is now, of course, the author of Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, the New York Times best-selling Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Ransom has been a friend of mine for a long time, long enough that I am uncomfortable calling him Ransom because I know him as Randy. Typical Swindon Town Swoodilypoopers free kick there. Not near the goal. Ransom, I blurbed, in fact, Miss Peregrine. I read it before it came out. I really loved it, and he's such a fascinating guy. But if you've read Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, and at this point it seems like everyone has, you will know that Ransom is a very strange man. He also has one of the world's largest collections of photographs of people he doesn't know. I mentioned him in a video once. He was in one of the Thoughts from Places videos from L.A. He has an extremely large collection of photographs of strangers. He has a book of them actually coming out, a coffee table book coming out in just a few months. But generally, I mean, that's not his only strange hobby. He's also, a world traveler, and I've been on road trips with him. That it's pretty fascinating to travel with Ransom because he's just interested in things the rest of us aren't interested in. He's somewhat macabre. Pronunciation. I don't know. You guys tell me in comments. I'm sure you'll be happy to tell me about all the mistakes I made. Come on. We just haven't been the same. But there's Stone Cold Steve also with a C. No, he can't close the deal. Despicable. That was probably a bad choice by me. I want to apologize to my family, and particularly to my brother, who is kind enough to share this video gaming channel with me on the assumption that I will not suck. So our sketches were extremely weird. I mean, I was trying to think of sketches that I could tell you about, but I can't really tell you about any of them because none of them make sense outside of, none of them make decontextualized sense. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, oh, the more I thought, none of them make sense in context either, really. All of my sketches were, of course, about romantic love, specifically my failures in it. And most of them were an attempt to get one of the girls in the comedy group to kiss me. So I'd like write a sketch, and they would be like, "Who's gonna play the boy who the girl kisses?" And I was like, "I'll play the boy who the girl kisses." And so I had a sketch called 3-Year Relationship in 2 Minutes that tracked my 3-year relationship with my college girlfriend over the course of 2 minutes. So everything was like super sped up, and she dumped me like 11 times in 2 minutes. And I had a sketch where I talked about how it's important for when people are in a comedy group together that they not make out, in which everybody made out, things like that. Also in the comedy group was Levin O'Connor, who's an actor and improviser now in Los Angeles. He was in an episode of the TV show Arrested Development, which apparently is coming back. Hooray, hooray! I hope Levin's in it again. But he's a really accomplished improviser in L.A. And lots of other really talented people I went to college with were involved in 1033, including Jenny Lawton, who is now works for National Public Radio for a really good show called Studio 360, and is married to Alex Galifant, the extremely handsome and goal! Stone Cold Steve with a C. Austin goal! Yes! Oh! That just goes to show you, Swindon Town Swoodilypoopers, do we love our John Greens? Yes. Do we need them? Yes, but not always. Oh, look at voluptuous Pericard with a great pass. Well, he took a shot, actually. And then just Stone Cold Steve Austin finishing it with his head. A lot of people have asked me if I am aware that the players on Swindon Town are actual players. That, for instance, C. Austin is actually named Charlie Austin and is a striker no longer for Swindon Town because they were relegated to League Two, but used to be a striker for the Swindon Town Swoodilypoopers, who, by the way, in real life, not known as the Swindon Town Swoodilypoopers. The answer is that, yes, of course I am aware of Charlie Austin and D. Lucas and the rest, but they don't play for the Swindon Town Swoodilypoopers because this is a fictional universe. And in this fictional universe, Fat Lucas dominates. God, I wish I had a good song to sing about Fat Lucas right now. That was just that was great stuff. Great stuff. And now Voluptuous Pericard, all alone. Voluptuous Pericard, he finishes! He finishes! So yes, you have to love the fictional universe of the Swindon Town Swoodilypoopers. You have to embrace it and embrace that these characters are characters in a story. The story of Swindon Town's dramatic rise from League One all the way, God willing, to the Premiership. All right, here we go. We're up 2-0 on Bristol City. Poor Bristol City. They didn't know what they were getting into. They didn't know they were going to have to fight against Fat Lucas. They didn't know that Voluptuous Pericard and Stone Cold Steve with a C. Austin were both going to score goals. Oh, God, I love this game. I love the Swoodilypoopers. It's a genuine love, and I think of them as my friends. I really do. I know that that's creepy, but it's true. Can't help myself. Can't help myself. Can we pass it back? I'm just passing for fun. Anybody who has any tips, let me know. So, 1033, which was the name of our comedy group, actually had a life outside of just college. After we graduated from college, a number of the guys from the comedy group, including Levin O'Connor, myself, and Scott, and our friend Will Hickman, moved to Chicago, and we were living together in Chicago, and we sort of formed a professional version of 1033, which involved us briefly touring colleges. We had, I would say, intermittent success. Sometimes people would think that we were quite funny, and then other times people would think that we were very, very strange. Fat Lucas, again, with the big-time save. Big-time Fat Lucas-y save. Again, you can't stop Fat Lucas. You can only hope to contain him. It's actually difficult to contain due to his girth. So we did do it professionally, but I mean, I think our total lifetime earnings as professional sketch comedians was definitely in the 3 digits, and possibly, if you count gas, in the 2. It was a lot of fun. I mean, I learned a lot about writing from writing sketch comedy because I learned, A, how to make people laugh, and B, how to make people laugh quickly. There's a goal from Stone Cold Steve with a C. Austin. I mean, the thing about being on stage is that if you're bombing, you know you're bombing, whereas if you're bombing in a book, you don't know you're bombing because you're not, like, watching the person read it. So bombing on stage is helpful to writing because it reminds you that, like, you have a responsibility to the reader, and they aren't going to be endlessly patient with you. And so I think the memory for me of those days, both when people would laugh and when they wouldn't, and I should say, like, I thought we did all right for ourselves, sketch comedy group wise, but, you know, both when they laughed and when they didn't, I learned something about how to write for an audience, which is, I knew how to write for myself by the time I got to college, but I didn't know how to write for other people. And that was something that I learned in classes, but also that I definitely learned as part of my my time at 1033. But mostly it was just a lot of fun. They were great guys and great. I'm saying guys as if they were all men, but great people, and a lot of fun to hang out with them. And those friendships that you have in college, you don't really have friendships like that as an adult. Not to worry you, but it's true. It's like a whole different thing being friends, because then you're an adult and all your friendships are like, oh, soccer practice with my kid is so funny. It's not. Yeah, no, it's just different endeavor. But now I'm getting nostalgic while I play FIFA for a living, so maybe I shouldn't complain. Uh-oh. I get punished for my nostalgia. All right, we made a good slide tackle there. The old necessary slide tackle, my favorite kind. So that's the story of the sketch comedy group that I was in college. We I should mention that also in that sketch comedy group, at least in the second year, maybe in the first year too, was my friend Dean, who is now a professional poker player and TV producer person. I don't like to brag, but I have known a lot of interesting people in my day. And Dean is perhaps the most interesting and eccentric of them all. Come on. I can't score like that. That's impossible. So I wanted to tell you something else. Oh, right. I wanted to tell you, even though we're in the 89th minute here, and many people will have stopped watching due to the fact that we're dominating the game 3-0, even without other John Green or Ball John Green. I wanted to tell you why I am not upgrading to FIFA 12. And I'm not going to be upgrading to FIFA 12. It's not because I couldn't recreate these Swoodilypoopers, or even because Swindon Town has since been relegated to League 2 and I would have to play an extra season. No, it is not for any of those reasons. There is one reason and one reason only, which is that there is no mustache in FIFA 12. It is not a wardrobe option, and I refuse to play in a world in which Bald John Green cannot be bald and mustachioed. Thank you for watching Sports with John. We dominated the game. Next time you'll see Bald John Green and other John Green. Tell me what to talk about. Thank you. Best wishes.